We were leaving Afghanistan with dignity and strength. Biden left in shame and defeat, a defeat like this country has never suffered before. This month marks the 2-year anniversary of the most embarrassing event in the history of our country, Joe Biden's disastrous surrender in Afghanistan. This was one of the horrible, horrible events in our country's past, leaving thousands and thousands of Americans behind. We don't even know the number. 13 dead warriors, hundreds of civilians killed and horribly wounded, including soldiers beyond the 13 soldiers that were so badly wounded. And $85 billion worth of the finest military equipment anywhere in the world abandoned, handed over, call it what you want, to the Taliban. It was a surrender. Never before has there been such an egregious display of incompetence and weakness on the world stage.
We know that this man is incapable of telling the truth.
As I recall, and I think it's laid out in the SKEWERED report, the special IG for Afghanistan, it's about 80 some odd billion dollars worth of military aid total. That's everything from food and building barracks and uniforms and boots to include equipment over 20 years. Right. And then he cites, I think it's 7.2 billion of military equipment, U.S. manufactured military equipment that is with the Afghan security forces. That's Afghan-owned equipment, not American equipment. Every piece of American equipment that the American military owned came out with us with Scott Miller, or he destroyed it on site. And that's a fact. So the idea that the American...
So this attack on Biden for not taking the equipment back is total bunk.
The Doha agreement that President Trump and his administration entered into with the Taliban required the complete withdrawal of U.S. forces and diplomatic. That was the agreement that the Trump administration entered into. You said that had we not complied with that agreement, that there would be, quote, open war with the Taliban, right? That they had kept their agreement not to attack U.S. forces, which allowed us to withdraw and reduce our footprint. So here today, had we not withdrawn and not ended the war, would we be at open war with the Taliban?
I think the probability is greater than not that the Taliban would have reinitiated combat operations on 1 May or 2 May. The Doha agreement says all force out by 1 May. The current administration, the State Department negotiated with the Taliban to get that extended, Zal-Khalilzad did, to get that extended until September, I guess it was, to buy some additional time. But there's little question in my mind that had the United States, that either president's agreement to withdraw, if we didn't withdraw 100%, then we would have been back at war with the Taliban. That's right.
With due respect, Grant, I mean, like, veterans, being one, right, and our friends are over there. Right. We followed this closely for multiple administrations, and we know that Trump's administration's efforts here were fairly weak, that they were trying to limit the number of people that would get out. And so there was coordination problems.
Joe, I'm going to cut you. I'm already weak. I'm already low on time, Joe. Joe, cut him off, please. Cut him off now. Cut him off now. You're not going to blame this on President Trump on my show.
We know that Donald Trump's entire life is a lie. So why would we be surprised that while he sits around and talk about what Biden left in Afghanistan, and his followers keep blaming Biden for how he left Afghanistan, and not even acknowledging that it was Donald Trump who actually made the deal for America to leave Afghanistan. And if Biden would have tried to keep American troops in Afghanistan, we would have been in violation of said agreement made by yours truly, the lying Trump. The lying Trump. So the idea that he's lying about $81 billion worth of American equipment that's left in Afghanistan is absolutely ludicrous. But so is his life. So is he. We find out now that all this money he has is real, only in his mind. Only in his mind. He can't pay the $464 million owed to the state of New York, and he might be at risk of losing Mar-a-Lago if he doesn't come up with that cash by Monday. Donald Trump's entire life is a grift. He says something, banks go along with it. He says something, white racists go along with it. He says something, political pundits go along with it. He says something, the news media repeats it without validating any of it. And what happens? Because he says something and banks went along with it, He defrauded them. Because he say something and the news media went along with it, people are confused about where the state of our democracy is. Because he say something and it's not verified by all the people that should be verifying everything Donald Trump said, America's worse off. We sit here and pretend that this man has an ounce of morality, when in actuality, we see he cares about nothing beyond his body structure. He is disgusting for that reason. Donald Trump lies about how much equipment and money was left in Afghanistan and will not even tell his followers he's the reason we're no longer in Afghanistan. Mandatory exit date. He set that date. First, he lowered the number of troops. Then he gave a date when we will be completely out. This man disrespects the military as often as he wants to. And those white racists that support him go along with it. Yet they call themselves patriotic. And they could do that in their mind because patriotism to them means support of Donald J. Trump, not the United States of America, not these United States of America, not shore to shore. None of that. It's about Donald Trump, and that's it. Y'all about to get serious before you get gone. I'm Mondale Robinson. Peace.